Okay, Matt, Joel, great to see you today. Thank you so much for inviting us down here to Prime Motors Essex, based in Hoddesdon. I just wanted to take a bit of time to ask you a few questions about yourselves and your business and some of the processes that you do here. So, really impressive setup coming in at first sight. But what do you think it is that drives that initial contact to come to you? What do you think it is that they've experienced that makes them then want to walk through the doors, as it were?
Well, obviously, being a car showroom, a lot of it's on the internet now. So obviously, a lot of it's based off what you see on the screen. People, as you said, it's quite a nice setup we operate from, but that's not what people see. They only get to see that once they actually arrive. So it's important that we obviously present our cars correctly on Auto Trader, make sure our picturing's good, making sure our presentation of the cars are spot on, and as well, just obviously trying to get across the level of attention to detail we put into our cars. It's quite difficult when all you've got is a photo, but obviously we try and detail as much as we can online about our processes and things we do here, so people feel comfortable before they've come down. So obviously reviews as well are quite a big thing that we've been pushing recently, and obviously just our online presence, that people are comfortable before they arrive, because people do a lot of research on us and the business before they actually come down. So
So, Joel, coming to you, when people are doing that research, other than
Yeah,
the actual product, which is the car, there's going to be some other factors which
yeah.
have drawn them in to come to you. So, you've mentioned there, for example, like some of the reviews. So, what do you think is the main message which is coming out from those reviews that people are then saying,
I
yeah,
f-
these guys sound
yeah.
great?
I think with us especially, it's about making people feel comfortable, and obviously, we try to before we even sell the car is build that sort of relationship with our customers where they feel that they can come here. It's a safe environment, where down to earth people that you can have a normal conversation with, and that's essentially what we're trying to do. It's not all just about selling the cars and making lots of money. Ultimately, yeah, of course, that is a part of it, but that will come with it anyway. As long as people come down and they're happy and they feel comfortable and they feel like their investment is protected, and then that's what we try to offer everyone.
Okay. So they're coming down. They've heard about your reputation. They've seen maybe a car or a product that they're particularly interested in, and then they come down to the showroom. Matt, what would the kind of process be from that point on?
what we try and do, and which I've always installed ever since me and Joe have been doing this over 10 years together. I've been doing it a bit longer than that. But ever since day one is don't put pressure on customers. When people come down, they initially feel like it's going to be a battle. People almost have to psych themselves up to come and deal with a salesman, and it's like us against them. We literally give them the keys and say, if you need anything, just let us know, and just check in on the customer now and then, rather than trying to push people into buying something. We feel like when you pressurize something, and you were saying before about the feedback from the reviews, a lot that comes back from our reviews are people saying they enjoyed the fact we didn't pressure them, we let them sit in the car, we let them take their time. That we do get a lot of that, don't we? From the feedback.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if other people do that, but we never compare ourselves to anyone else. We never slag anyone other businesses off. Everyone's got their own situation. We just do what works for us, and we feel that that's one of our good things, that we don't sell people or sell to people, because we want them to actually choose to buy the car, not us force them into the car.
Yeah. Okay, so how many of them would you say, Joe, when they come down, are kind of have an understanding already about their finance, whether they actually have a realistic opportunity to be able to drive, the car out on the day, and then looking at things like warranty, for example, as well. So, what happens with regards to those checks?
Well, with our customers, when they come down, I think sometimes they have a brief understanding of some of those areas of what you've just mentioned. But here we like to obviously educate our customers and give them more insight into it, more in depth. So we'll actually spend time and go through all of those different areas, the different things that we can offer with finance, warranty packages, the companies we work with warranties, so people have an understanding of what they're actually getting into before they agree to anything.
Yeah.
People need to know what they're buying and making sure that it is a good investment.
Okay. So, Matt, just picking up on that with regards to the finance, what would you say is a percentage of people that qualify for finance to be able to actually purchase a car?
To be honest with you, it's the finance we've probably seen in the news. The car finance industry has been turned on its head recently from the FCA, new guidelines, etc. And now there's a fairer, what's the official term of it? The fairer trading, consumer duty.
Consumer duty and treating all customers with the same equal fairness.
So this is what we've obviously got to adhere by from the FCA guidelines. And what's difficult now is it's not a yes or a no answer. It's a yes, but it's this. Yes, but it's that. And each customer is individual, which people don't realise. And again, it's just people might have bought a car 5 years ago, think they know how it all works, but it is literally a completely different setup and system now from how it was previously. There's a lot more transparency, a lot more checks and stuff that we have to do. And obviously that then goes on to the customer as well. But they are protected, and our business and our industry is run a lot more stricter now than it used to be. So
how long would that financial check potentially take? So if I was sitting by your desk today, seeing the car that I like, wanted to go ahead or at least find out how much the monthly payments would be, how long does that kind of process take?
Well, giving someone a quotation on a finance, depending if it's a HB, PCP or a lease purchase, which it could be, that can take 5 to 10 minutes. But the actual process of the application from start to finish, that could take about 20 to 30 minutes. But getting a decision back from the lender, that will vary case by case.
And lender by lender.
Exactly. Different lenders have different criterias, and everyone is going to be in a different circumstance to the next person that walks in.
You've got a ballpark of kind of like, if you've got great credit, the quickest
Oh well,
time possible,
we've had customers walk into the office and have acceptances literally, in a couple of minutes once they've done the application process. Where we had other customers where it may take a few days, where they may have to do further checks, more looking into their credit profile. But it's like I said, it's all a case by case. Yeah.
And as well, it depends on the customer. If someone's moved house 3 times in the last 3 years, they might have fantastic credit, but there's that level of checks. Whereas someone who's lived at the same house for 20 years, the same job, it's a very easy check for a finance company. So even though there might be nothing to it, there might be just a couple of things that they need to check. It's a story. If your story is black and white and it makes sense, it's really an easy decision to make. Whereas if it's a little bit more complicated, you've got to unravel that story slightly. And so it does take a little bit of time sometimes.
All right, that's great. I want to talk to you about warranty now in terms of what's potentially offered, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. But the reason I want to come to that is we come into your showroom today, and obviously you're selling effectively used cars. But some of the cars out there look so immaculate. I mean, they literally look showroom, as if you're about to drive them out. Does that kind of give the illusion sometimes that people almost feel that they're getting a brand new car and therefore don't want a warranty? Is that ever a thing?
Well, it's funny you've actually mentioned that, because we do get a lot of customers that think everything with the car is perfect and will last forever. But like anything, cars have their expiration dates. Cars aren't built to last forever. That's why when you buy a car brand new from a manufacturer, they give you a 3 years warranties from main dealer manufacturers on average. So that is why we obviously offer cover for RAC, Auto Protect, some of the companies that we're in partnership with. But we always recommend our customers to take out extra level cover, because as much as we do our checks and our due diligence to make sure that these vehicles are thoroughly checked over, tested, test driven, we can't promise that in the foreseeable future or later on down the line. It could be after 6 months, it could be a year's time, 2 years' time. We don't know what's going to happen.
Of course.
So that is why we try to make sure that you're properly protected. It's just peace of mind you're buying at the end of the day.
So is there a recommendation in terms of per vehicle?
Well, what is
as should or shouldn't do?
As the same as what happens with the finance, every situation is individual. So it's my job here to write the policies and write the procedures, etc. But you can't write a definitive guide, because someone might come in here and buy a car who's a mechanic. He doesn't need any warranty because he's going to do his work himself.
Yeah.
You could have Mrs. Smith who's got no idea about cars at all. Them two people need a completely different level of cover, because for Mrs. Smith, for example, I'd recommend taking out our highest level of package, because we take care of everything for you, hard courtesy cars, etc.
Yeah.
But obviously the guy who's got his own garage and potentially use of 20 cars, he needs a very basic level of warranty. But what we do here is make sure someone goes out with a warranty, because sold as seen is a thing of the past. Trade sale, thing of the past. If you're buying from us, you're buying from a retail establishment. So we need to provide you with a level of cover, whether it be a 3-month basic engine and gearbox cover. And we need to stand on with that in every situation. There's no way that we've got a very good after sales policy, because our reputation is, as we said previously, your reputation online is what people see, and you need to look after your customers correctly.
Yeah.
You can't keep everyone happy. It's impossible when you're dealing with people want perfect cars, and obviously we can only bring them up to said about the standard. We do the best we can, but they're not perfect. And then there's a tiny bit of grey area. They look perfect, but they're still.
Yeah.
Our remit is 5 to 10 years old, and towards the 10 years old, there has to be an element of acceptance that it is a used product.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's have a talk about the cars. Let's have a talk about the product. So, for anyone that doesn't know, we're talking about they can buy, a big range of cars, or do you specifically kind of more sell by just a certain type of car? So is it only 4 or 5 different model types, or?
Well, I think obviously being the buyer, I think I should probably answer that question. What I try to do is obviously stand in front of cars that I believe in. So obviously I love my Range Rovers, love the whole Land Rover range. Sometimes that comes with a price because they're not exactly the most reliable cars as advertised, but we know them like the back of our hand. We know the pitfalls, we know the weaknesses, we know how to fix them if they do go wrong. So we do a lot of Land Rovers, we do a lot of BMWs, Mercedes, and I feel it's important to know your product. If you have a wide range of cars, we have situations where someone can ring up and say, I've got this fault. They can send us the fault code. We've 9 times out of 10 experienced it before. We know it's XYZ.
Yeah.
It's a small problem. You can get it fixed locally to you, or they tell us the problem. It can be quite serious. The best thing to do, we'll come and get the car, get it back into us. We'll fix it because we know how to do it correctly.
So what have we actually got at the moment in terms of products at the moment? You mentioned Range Rovers are there. I've seen some nice Audis out there. I've seen some BMWs. Is that generally the range that you have at the moment? Are these the kind of model types you're mainly working on?
To be fair, if you've come in, you've seen some of the stuff that we've got in our showroom. We've got all types. We've got SUVs. We've got normal standard smaller cars. We've got anything from Vauxhalls up to, like you said, Range Rovers. Sometimes we stock cars like Porsches every now and then.
Yeah.
We've started doing a few EV cars. I know there's a big talk at the minute about EV cars, whether to buy one or not to go with the choice of the EV cars.
Yeah.
We've actually gone down it in such a way with Teslas. We've tried like Tesla Model 3s, Model X's, which other ones have we done?
We've got the Model Y.
Yeah.
The thing is with Teslas, again, it's an unknown for us. And I don't really like walking down paths that no one's walked before. You're not here to reinvent the wheel. And we don't know Teslas. So we've sort of dipped our toe in the water with the EV market. We've dipped in, we've dipped out, we've dipped in. But it's so volatile at the moment. Yeah. And when we buy cars that are 5 to 10 years old, they've done a hell of a lot of depreciation. So if a car sits in stock for 3 to 6 months for whatever reason, the depreciation factor isn't an issue because it won't depreciate that much in that period of time. But with an EV car, obviously they're quite expensive. Yeah. And we've seen EV cars sit here for 3 months and lose £5,000.
Yeah.
In the space of 3 months. So not because of the product, not because of anything we've done wrong, just the volatility of the market is why we're a little bit cautious on the EV side. So until there's a bit more stability there, I feel like it's important that we do a couple just to keep in it.
Yeah, keep relevant. Yeah.
But in terms of obviously making that quite a substantial part of the business, I think we're a little bit away from that yet. So,
okay. All right. So let's talk about so keeping on with the cars at the moment. Then you've gone out. You've said there's a car. You found it. It's one that you trust in. You believe in. Got experience with. It's a good one for you to get on board. So from that point, that car presumably has to go through various checks to be ready before it's ready to be marketed for sale. So we've gone through today and we've seen various things happening, which looks like almost like an MOT centre at the back there. Just talk to me about what's the journey of that car once it's been purchased.
Well, to be fair, this is what probably the best thing since we've moved to our new site is our procedures. It's taken a while, changes, pull stuff in, pull stuff out. Some worked, some didn't, but I feel like we've tuned it to almost perfect. Each car comes in, it's checked in like an airport. So every car comes on site, it's checked in where it's from, how many keys, for example, because keys can get lost. Then it's a case of how many keys does the car have. It's all on a group chat, so everyone knows exactly what's gone on, where cars are. Then that's detailed, what it needs. It's checked in for a PDI. The mechanical side of things is done first, and then it can go off to do its wheels, any bodywork that's required. We do a lot of that off-site because we just like it to be a sales centre here. People don't want to see behind the curtain and their car going through the process. They just want to believe their car's never been touched, which unfortunately isn't reality. So, but doing that off-site, it just eliminates people seeing their car on axle stands. It just looks horrendous, even though it's a very common practice, which probably most cars go through. Seeing a car on axle stand just doesn't look great. And then obviously you come back to us once it's all ready for detailing. We spend a lot of time in detailing. We've worked really hard to get our detailing to a perfection. As much as this showroom's fantastic, it's got the brightest lights in the world. You can't get away with nothing under these lights. So it's got to be top A1. And then obviously it's photoed, and then it's over to Joel where he lists them, and then from there you do your thing from there. So
yeah, it's just good because obviously, like Matt said, I think with our PDI process, which is obviously a pre-delivery inspection for those that don't know, is something that records all the information when a vehicle comes in, and this is something that we keep on a database. So if there was any other questions about anything with our cars after the vehicle's been sold, we actually have evidence of everything, and we can provide that and show proof. And I think people need to see things like that these days so they feel like they can trust you, because trust is an important thing, especially when you're buying a car. A lot of people, cars are second most important purchase, most expensive purchase they'll ever make after a house. So,
and there's a lot of scams about at the minute,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of horror stories. If you go on the internet and type in stuff, all you read is bad stuff, and there is scams, people trying to scam people, etc. So it's our job to make people feel comfortable. But we had a situation where we PDI a car, it comes over to me to make a decision whether we can sell this, because it's not necessary if there's a decent profit margin in it. We have to warrant that car for 6 months. It has to be to a certain standard. So sometimes we actually just either auction the car or we'll sell it on a private ad. One of the guys sells it as a private ad on Auto Trader. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just doesn't fit into what we have to do as a business. And we have to have the confidence of standing there and sell that car and be happy for someone to drive down the road in it. Obviously, to do that, we have to sell it a bit cheaper. Someone else probably might have to do the work, but that PDI process shows me if a car's mechanically sound enough to be able to sell it through Prime.
Perfect. Okay. So wonderful process. The car's there. Someone's come in. We've talked about finances and warranty and how they may go about purchasing it. Do we also offer here part exchange? Is that a thing that we do? Do we help people at all with doing their finance agreements and getting those settled?
I think this is to you, mate. You
Yeah, this is something that we do here. If someone has a vehicle that they're not sure what to do with it or what their options are, where we do give people part exchange. We do give people the option of if they've got a finance existing on the vehicle, this is something that we can actually handle for them. So rather than someone stressing about how much they owe and if they're going to have the money to purchase the car after they've managed to get rid of their current vehicle, we can actually do all the legwork. We can contact the finance companies. We've got systems in places with HPI checkers, so we can see what their agreement numbers are. We can contact the finance companies for them if they're not confident to speak to these people, because we know the right correct literature to speak to them with and the right questions to ask. And sometimes it actually works out better doing it through us in that sort of respect, because you may have positive equity in the vehicle that you're not aware of. And that does happen quite a lot, where people think they owe more money than what they actually owe because they're settling these finances earlier.
Yeah, because that's the thing, they look at the end figures, but when you settle your finance early,
The rebate on interest.
you're not paying all that interest. So, like you said, sometimes there's a bit of a...
And then presumably that could go towards
a deposit and
exactly.
just move their finance over to the... It's not simpler if someone doesn't know what they're doing, but it's a lot simpler for us to do than people realise. A lot of people look at it and go, well, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to do that? If you actually come in and talk to us.
That's part of the service, right? That's part of the personal service, which is
Exactly.
in your reviews, which is what's bringing people to come through to you.
But in the same breath, obviously with part exchange, we are very transparent. As we said about finance, you have to be transparent. People would get more money for their vehicles selling it privately, for example. But the negative of that is obviously you have to have people come into your house, people coming to you with £20,000 potentially. We've had people as much as £50,000 trying to sell from their drive. And we give people advice. Like at the end of the day, if people come to us and buy a car, they're our client. And if you don't buy it from me, we want them to be safe. And I wouldn't recommend anyone selling their car off their drive for any substantial amount of money. It's just not safe. And we try and encourage them to get the best money. We've even driven people to We Buy Any Car, for example, because they offered more money than we can.
Yeah.
So we drive them down there, they do the deal, come back and buy our car.
Yeah.
Because there's no point us buying your car if from a business perspective, if there isn't enough margin in it for us to go through the whole process of what we have to do to get it retail ready. So if you can get more money from We Buy Any Car, listen, we work together, and if it doesn't suit, we'll shake hands, and obviously, hopefully, you can get the deal you want. But we have to make sure that the part exchanges are bought correctly, because we have to do a lot to these cars to make sure that they're retail ready for us.
And in the same breath, we manually underwrite these valuations ourselves as well. So if we ever feel from the information we've got or other valuations the customer's got that the valuation coming back from the cap, which is the obviously what we use in Auto Trader to get the vehicle's part exchange price, is incorrect, we can look into it, review it, and we can adjust it. So these are sort of things that people should consider.
You do get the odd customer that is completely unrealistic, and they're ringing us up saying, I've seen them going online for 18 grand. I want about 17 and a half. And then you look on there and that one's even done less miles, better spec. And unfortunately people don't know. But like I said, it's our job to educate them.
Yeah, of course.
We're willing to pay X. If you're not willing to come down from Y, then unfortunately we can't do the deal. Similar to what we said before about selling them the car. It's not our job we make our offer and it's either accepted or not. They might ask for an explanation, but sometimes it is quite brutal to tell someone their car's worth 20 grand when they think it's worth 30. And then you show them. It is sometimes a hard job.
Yeah.
You know when you're priming someone up and they're looking and you press generate estimate and it's coming up 18. And you said, you've got a rough sort of figure? And they say 25. It's like, oh no. But you can only be honest. As we said, that's what we do here. Whether it's a bad conversation or it's a good conversation, our policy is just be honest and straight, and people respect you. Whether they like it is a different story, but they'll definitely respect the honesty.
Okay, so one of the other questions that I did have for you is certainly the last time I bought a car, I know that I was offered some extras. I think one of the things was a gap insurance, and the other one I heard of was paint protection, but I didn't really know what that was. Do you offer extras as well?
Yeah, we don't offer gap insurance, but we do offer paint protection, ceramic coating, or some other various names it's called. But it's something that I personally always thought, I wouldn't say it was a scam, but it wasn't a product I personally believed in. But I had it done myself with this new company we use called Diamond Bright, and it's been exceptional because I've used it personally. Again, I just used it because I wanted to see the product for myself, and I think it's important to sell things that you believe in. So we didn't really have the best start in selling Diamond Bright, did we, when we first brought the guys on board? And then we done it to our own personal cars. Our partner at Diamond Bright come in, explained us a few things, and it's a fantastic product. Now, my missus, she parks under a tree when she parks at the car park at the train station, and her car was completely covered in tree sap. I washed it, and it was like it was the day it drove out the showroom. It was absolutely perfect. And I think we done one more as well, didn't we? One of the guys we know bought a car off us just as a thank you. We put Diamond Bright on his car, and he came back in and said, I can't believe how good that product is. So now we believe in it, and now it's a thing that we would 100% recommend to people. Similar to you, when I bought a car, you just get that experience of salesmen trying to sell you stuff.
Yeah, just another add-on.
It's just another add-on they're getting commission out of, and you're like, do you want this product? And you're like, no, mate. Like, you just feel like you're being sold to. But this is another thing that we send to our customers before they come here. We give them all the information, we show them it, because at the end of the day, if you sold something that's a dud to someone, you've got to face this. And we like repeat business. If you walk to someone in the street and you sold them something that doesn't work, it's embarrassing, and it's not what we want to do as a business. But the paint protection has been brilliant, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that you need to consider. It's like anything. When you buy a house, you need to have home insurance. If you're buying a car, you want to protect your investment. So you want to have some sort of coverage. And when you have these paint protections, there's loads of different ones. You could get PPF, for example, which is paint protection film, but it's very expensive. So we needed to find a way to be able to appeal to everyone, all our customers, whether you've got loads of money or not as much disposable money to spend. With the paint protection, what it actually is it's a process the vehicle goes through, where they put a special type of compound as such that solidifies on the vehicle, and it's an extra layer of protection, almost like a glass effect to it once it's actually gone through the process and it's actually seeped into the paintwork. Once
What
that's
our
applied,
what our rep said, the best way to describe that is basically you've got a golf ball with all the little dimples on it, and that's where all the dirt and the tree sap and the bird mess, whatever you want to call it, seeps into them dimples. But by applying this paint protection, you're basically taking that golf ball, making it into a snooker ball. That's the level of ceramic glass finish. So if you can imagine, if something's on top of a snooker ball, it just falls off. Whereas something's on a golf ball, it seeps into the dimples within that golf ball. So that was quite a nice, simple way that he described it to us. So yeah, that's one product that I said we believe in, because with the gap insurance, there's quite a lot of levels to it, and it's just something that is more of a financial product rather than something that's a benefit to the customer. Don't get me wrong, gap insurance is great, but that would be something that we'd recommend that some would do personally.
Yeah, you
with
can
a
always
third
get
party.
that
If
externally.
they say I want gap, if you want gap insurance, then no problem. You go and find your own gap insurance rather than us being involved in that, because that's literally a financial black and white product, like insuring your car. So we try and stay away from that, but definitely the ceramic coating, because as you said previously, we prepare our cars at such a high level. It's a perfect time to put that ceramic coat on, because it's clean, it's like glass. You put that ceramic coat on when it leaves our showroom, you'll be good for at least 2-3 years, I think they guarantee.
It's a lifetime guarantee with Diamond Bright.
Oh, lifetime,
So if
there you go.
the product doesn't actually deliver what it says it does, protects you from acidic rain, bird droppings, spilling coffee inside the car, because it does protect you internally and externally. You can actually have an engineer come out and actually assess it and repair the paintwork. So it's worth having it, yeah.
All right, well, listen, I mean, absolutely fantastic. Really nice to hear about the business and yourselves. It's really nice to kind of deep dive into what it is that you're doing here and what you can offer. People that are looking to find you, I'm presuming that's obviously more online rather than a kind of walk-in trade. So one of you want to just tell us website or trade, wherever it is best in terms of finding you, and then some contact details.
Well, just obviously, I'll let Joel take that because obviously being our sales manager, he's the one that generates the leads, etc. But the reason we like to be more online than not do the walk-in service is because we like to make sure that the car that you're looking at is ready. We can give you enough time, so we don't book appointments. We have our hour slots, because if there's 3 people here, there's no way in the world we can give you the attention that people need. And people want to be able to ask you questions. They don't want to be interrupting you talking to someone else. Yeah. So, one, we like to get the car ready to make sure that it's not at the back. It needs to be pulled out. We've got 100 cars, so we want to make sure it's clean and presented the best way possible, and to give it the service. So that's why we try and operate an appointment-only service to generate the best service for us. But in terms of where to find us,
yeah, the best place to find us would be Google, Auto Trader, Instagram. We're also on Facebook, so we have exposure all over the internet at the moment. Yeah. But generally, if you give us a ring or an email, we can book you in for an appointment to view the car, test drive it. Just make sure you bring your driving license with you if you do want to go on a test drive, and we can offer you obviously all the time you need.
I think just on that as well, WhatsApp's become quite a dominant communication because we don't really stop, do we? No. There's no 9 to 5 anymore. So obviously we do pick up leads when we can. I've seen Joel replying to leads at 10 o'clock at night, having full-on conversations with people. But obviously through WhatsApp, you can be anywhere in the world. You can send photos, you can send videos, voice notes.
Yeah. So Joel, you've got your phone there in front of you now. Yeah. So in terms of being able to contact, what's the number they should either contact, or is there another way of hitting a link or a QR code, for example?
Yeah, well, you can visit our website and there's a hyperlink to WhatsApp. We'll take you straight onto a messenger direct with one of our sales team. Failing that, you can always give us a ring on 07425 293 903.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Jess. Thanks for your time, and look forward to seeing you again soon.